Hello, my name is Anthony Miller. I'm the CFO of Sweet Adelines International. And as the CFO, I invite you to come along with us as Region 10 celebrates 60 years as a region. As we continue our journey to travel in tune, thank you for joining us. There's more to come, so be sure to follow along via the Travel in Tune webpage or the mobile app. Now, enjoy the view as they take us on a tour of their courses, relive wonderful past performances from Essence Quartet and the Woodland Show Chorus, and so much more. Region 10, where the welcome mat is always out.
Hi, I'm Sue Engelbert, Region 10 Membership Coordinator and a 33-year member of Sweet Adelines International. I've also been working in crisis management and was in the U.S. Coast Guard before I retired. I now live in New Orleans and teach crisis management. I want to share with you some of the ways that your chorus can become resilient as we move forward and sing together in our future. What is resilience? Is it just a word? It is actually a culture, a concept of building skill sets that help you to adapt, help you to perform and problem solve despite any crisis, and then return stronger, which I know sounds odd, but you can actually find opportunity in a crisis and work through it. It's asking what if more than any other skill set. Crisis management is an important part of our planning process. Most courses have people that are just naturally able to lead through a crisis. Being resilient means you have an entire group of people within your chorus that can do this. A normal and healthy chorus will be able to identify opportunities even before a crisis occurs. They have a very positive culture and they work together well. Crisis occurs and this group still is affected by the crisis, just like everyone else. However, they recover quicker. Why? Because they're able to change and build on what they see around them to quickly be innovative and work through the crisis. We want you to be the blue line. That's the goal. How do we do that, practically speaking? It means that we have to be very purposeful. We actually have to focus on 4 different areas and bring them along with us every time we plan, every time we think about something within our chorus culture. The first part of this is our people, our members, and how our members interact, the culture of our chorus. Are we engaging with other members? Are we encouraging? Is it a safe environment? The second part of the people aspect of resiliency is the community engagement. How important do we feel the community is to our organization? The community internally within our chorus and externally. Also, are we participating in the training and the awareness of the training that our organization has? Are we interacting? Are we participatory in it or not? The process means what information and knowledge are you sharing throughout your course, and how well does that communication work? Is it back and forth? Is it team building? Is it encouraging? The continuity and accountability talks to being able to have processes and think about your standing rules and your governance and holding your governance accountable for ensuring that your processes are in place. Leadership is very important. We all know that. It includes making sure that the vision and purpose of your chorus is very clear and everyone knows it. Reputational risk talks through how your community feels about your chorus and your organization. If your community values your chorus, they will help you recover. They will find opportunities for you to perform. Finances and resource management includes ideas like having backups, having more than one person that can do the financial books, and ensuring that your finances are able to handle possibly not having performances for a year, as we all found out. Product is our musical and education product. And for us, this horizon and innovation idea is probably the hardest for us to remember to do and to do methodically. What horizon scanning is and innovation is embracing the idea of looking forward into your community. What buildings are being built? What festivals are being created? And being a part of that creation, partnering to build and innovate new ideas within your community, and also embrace those innovations that help you. It's forward-looking. Adaptive capacity is talking about using technology and adapting to change. All of us had to adapt in some way or form to using Zoom with our choruses. That's change. You can build your chorus's ability to change simply by creating new environments and helping them adapt to it. So keeping things fresh is part of helping your membership become adaptive as a group. Our goal here is to recover in a healthy manner. All of us are working towards that recovery today. How do we include resiliency in our new, stronger chorus? First, you assess what strengths you have with respect to these 10 categories. And then you build a roadmap to make your skills stronger as you go forward, using task forces or just teams, groups, and discussions. Whatever you do to change, make sure you include all of your members so that they know that the idea here is for the entire group to be stronger. To be a resilient chorus is to be a chorus that can adapt and be a 100-year chapter. Do you want to know more about this? I'm available to help your teams and your choruses. I can discuss the ideas of resiliency further with you. Certainly available for any type of discussion on this topic. My email is right here. I look forward to all of our choruses singing and harmonizing for a very long time.
Hello, and welcome to Region 10's next stop on our journey to Destination Resilience. Getting back into the swing of things and returning to something we've done before brings such an excitement, but it can also bring some challenges. So for the second half of our journey to resilience, we picked up a couple of passengers that we all know and love, Betty Clipman and Ryan Hiller. Both of these people are positive and motivational, and they have a vast amount of knowledge, but they also have some practical experience as they've been back at it for a while. Welcome Betty and Ryan. For those of you that are joining us that might not know, Betty Clipman is the director of the Woodland Show Chorus from the Conroe, Montgomery, Houston area in Texas. And Ryan Heller is the director of the Alamo Metro Chorus in the San Antonio area. Thank you both for joining us today. I greatly appreciate it. As I said earlier in the introduction, this is the second half of our Road to Resiliency. And both of these directors have a vast amount of knowledge and they're positive thinkers. But in addition to that, they have a lot of practical information that they can give you, as they have both been doing in-person rehearsals now for a while and have gone through the process all the way from online back to even doing performances in the holiday season just recently. So thank you very much for being here. I appreciate you giving your information to anyone that might be watching us. Thank you very much.
Well, I think our region was in the situation where the week before our convention, all of the conventions were already just canceled. And I know that both Ryan's chorus and our chorus were singing high A at that time. We were so ready and we were going to be so good and it was going to be so much fun, and then it wasn't happening. And then we went through the Zoom stage, which was a godsend then and is a nightmare now, the thought of having to go back to it. So when we did come out of that, I had encouraged our singers to record themselves during Zoom, because I know they all thought they were singing like $1 million. And I was suspicious. When we get back together, we started very conservatively. We got this dance studio that allowed us to come in, and we limited first come, first serve. We could only have 20 people. They had to be masked. They had to have a temperature check. They had to have signed the waiver. We had to be, distanced. And we actually did more than 6 feet at first. When they started singing with the masks on, that's very special. When they started to sing, I was like, oh, that we were, it was not that, it wasn't A. Let's put it that way. And so we had to start all over again. It didn't take me long to realize that what we were going to go do is back to the basics. As Vince Lombardi used to say, when they got together for the first time in the football season, their first rehearsal, he would say, "Gentlemen, this is a football." They would go back to that far back in the basics. And then that's what we did. We went back to trying to starting vocal production from the beginning. Yeah. So did you experience anything similar to that, Ryan?
We absolutely did. And I think probably everybody did, at least those who have ventured back so far. And like Betty shared, we were right there. We had our friends and family night, our send-off performance, like she mentioned, the week before regional would have been happening. And then of course it got canceled. We've since dubbed that the send-off to nowhere that year. And then everything happened. We took probably 4 or 5 weeks of polling the chorus. Do we want to go to Zoom? Do we want that to be every week? What's that going to look like? And then of course the Zoom period. Like Betty mentioned, here in our region, in the San Antonio area, starting in about April of 2021, case numbers were low enough to enable us to start doing some live rehearsals. And our rehearsal venue at the time limited the number of people in a room to 10. So we could have 9 singers and me for those first few live rehearsals, but that's better than nothing, And we kept, of course, the technology, and I think it's a piece we all want to keep, right? Is continue to stream our rehearsals. For anyone who can't be there, they can tune in and watch rehearsals. So that was something we started when we went back to the live. the live piece. And of course, with 9, I didn't have to worry much about, will there be enough room for everybody? So we were distanced, we were masked. Within about 8 weeks, we were back to I think we had 20 in the room. And then come about August, we changed rehearsal locations. And again, case numbers were so very low here that we were able to say, okay, whoever wants to come can come. And then it became mask optional. And all of those decisions were always chorus driven, right? We would take all the data we had, all the advice from our experts, and then have a conversation with the chorus, do a little Google poll. Someone would set that up for us, and then we would get their feedback and say, yep, we're comfortable with all of this stuff, comfortable going mask optional. We were still doing, like Betty mentioned, the waivers and the temperature checks and all of the precautions, at the door, getting people checked in for those who were coming live. And then we probably still had about 10 to 15% of the chorus on Zoom watching rehearsals digitally, just because they weren't yet comfortable coming live.
Right.
So we were doing all of those pieces, getting back to it. And then like Betty said, it was back to the building blocks, back to step 1, which is absolutely vocal skills, right? We can't expect to return to where we were in March of 2020 and just pick up where we left off. Not gonna happen.
Well, and when
Right.
we were on Zoom then, and then they'd play the recording of the song and everybody would be singing it with the recording. Well, when they got back together and it would be like, okay, let's sing that song. They'd be like,
Yeah,
where's
well,
the recording?
how's it go?
I said, do you remember when we used to sing this song? Do you like, and one of the things we had also done is that we talked to the doctor that's in our chorus, and we had her talk to everyone. She did a presentation, a very good one with, all the information. And I talked to my doctor, and we have an autoimmune person in our chorus who talked to her rheumatologist who, we did the risers with every other row and scattered, and someone else recommended, and it was a physician, that we use fans behind the risers that move the air through in all the spaces, so that the chorus, even though they are now maskless and safe because they've been fully vaccinated or whatever they were doing, if they still weren't comfortable, some of them still wore masks, optional, as Ryan said. But we found out that what we were doing was about as safe as you could possibly be. And we had zero super spread issue, none.
That's right. Same with us. All of those very things we were talking about with the fans and the purifiers and all of those things happening. And in those early days, it was still recommended, from the aerosol study that Sweet Adelines was a part of, that we should sing for 30 to 45 minutes, then take a break and allow the room to clear out and recirculate, right, and come back and do it again. And that's what we did. And we didn't used to take breaks. We would do our full 3-hour rehearsal, right, just bam, and get all that work done. I hate breaks with a fiery passion. But here we are, and now we sing for about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes, take a break, and then come back and do another segment, and that's our rehearsal. It's what it looks like right now, and I'm expecting as numbers continue to decline, as things look good, that we will continue to just push those timing issues closer to what it was. But again, keeping everyone safe and comfortable. And it occurs to me, the two biggest words for us as musical leaders in these times are resiliency and flexibility, right? Just being able to say, okay, it's not what it was. It's not what I expect it to look like. It's nowhere near the chorus in my head right now, and that's okay.
That's right. That's what I love. It's we did for early on in this, when we began as a chorus, that we learned the climb. And, we had gotten to, A-A, and that's where we were when everything happened. And when we got back together, when we started to sing, I thought, well, we're down at the bottom of the mountain again. And I kept saying, here we're gonna start the climb again, and got everybody excited. We can get back up there. We've been there. Let's just keep climbing and keeping it positive, keeping it joyful. And the fact that when we have the music in our lives, that really builds up our immunity system, because we're having joy and happiness, and that makes you less susceptible to getting sick.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, I think of the way we used to do things and the way we do things now. For example, like holding music on the risers is encouraged. We're not having deadlines like we used to. But if you need it, have it. We want you to be comfortable. We want you to be doing everything you can be to be there. And of course, we also learned that the non-singing time is just as important as the singing time, right? If many of those watching are like us, you probably on Zoom did some breakout rooms and did some fun games and icebreaker things and those kinds of things, right? Work those into your rehearsals. Have little live breakout rooms with a silly question. Keep playing the games. Have members of your teams do things that can be non-singing activities that keep that sense of camaraderie. Not only for those who are alive, but especially for those who are still tuning in, because they're still vital parts of our membership as well.
Yeah, and we started to you sort of said this in a way, but we have learned so much from having to do Zoom that we're doing our management team meetings by Zoom. This area is huge geographically. People can drive an hour and a half. So that means 3 hours, because they have to go home for a 2-hour meeting. I mean, that's ridiculous. And so we're doing them on Zoom now. We're doing PBIs on Zoom, because people had have a 6:30 PBI, and then there was a truck accident and they couldn't get there, and they'd be late for their. So we just don't do them now. During the rehearsal, we do it, and it's much more beneficial because it saves all that driving. And so we're contributing to the gas problem.
we're saving the planet and saving voices at the same time.
Exactly.
I love it.
I do too. And I mean, I'm just so grateful now that I have it back on a weekly basis with my friends live. I mean, it's like, oh, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God.
Yes, that's right. And Carrie mentioned in her introduction that both of our choruses have done performances. It's the holiday season while we're recording this. And that was something we talked about as a chorus too, back in September, when on our plan we had holiday performances, to say, is this something you want to work towards? Now's when we're going to start, if that is indeed the case. And the chorus overwhelmingly said yes. That's absolutely something we want to do. We want to bring it to our community. Whatever precautions are in place in the community at the time, we'll just deal with them and take care of it, and make it happen. And we had 5 chapter quartets with us who all agreed to sing a few songs on the show. The chorus sang everything they knew, non-holiday music and holiday music. And being the crazy man I am, I had introduced 4 new songs during the pandemic, and then 3 new holiday songs in the summer, because I wanted to revamp some of that repertoire as well. So I think we sang 18 songs on that show. 8 of them, 7 or 8 of them, were brand new. And that's celebration worthy too. I mean, talk about a huge mountain to climb, like Betty said. But we got off that stage, and I mean, the tears of joy and the celebration. I probably have never felt better, even leaving, an international stage. That moment, the first time back in front of an audience in nearly 2 years, that's something I'll never forget. I'm sure you feel the same with your performance that just happened.
What's funny is because I've been with this chorus longer than you have been with your chorus. So we sang 19 songs on our show. But it was like, afterwards, it was like 19 songs. And it never, I just was like, we were so happy. And it was a 2-hour show. I mean, we had bam, 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 it was, we have these people running our shows and stuff that are like to the minute, which I appreciate, because I hate to do stuff like that. And somebody just tells me what to do and when to do it. And I'm going, okay, I can handle that. You figure it out. So it's so uplifting I can't wait, because we're doing visiting each other's chorus, because we both are on our regional faculty. And so we do 2 complimentary visits, musical visits to courses in our region. And one of ours, I'm going to go to Alamo Metro, and one of Ryan's, he's going to come to the Woodland Show Chorus. And so we're going to see each other soon and be live.
Yeah. I can't wait either. Oh, it's just so
it's like, I mean, that used to be like the run of the mill, coach coming in. Now it's like, Christmas is coming again. We can see each other.
Absolutely, yes. And whoever is in the room, it's going to be glorious.
I know. Exactly. All 9. No, you're.
Yeah.
No, you've advanced.
Yeah, exactly. We're beyond that now, at least. But if someone watching, if that's where you're starting, that's great. Start with them,
Yep.
and then you build up from there. That's really the key, is that flexibility to make that happen.
Right. So one of the very special gifts we got out of this whole COVID thing is that we're appreciating the beautiful moments in life, that the music in our life. And that song, we should close our show with it. We even, acknowledge the audience. It's because of friendships that make us stay. And that's, so we're there as performers, and it's the music that brought us all together. They're having a meal too, but the best part is when we sing. Humbly speaking.
Of course.
So.
Oh, it's so true. Well said, my friend. I can't say it any better.
To me, remember in the days before COVID, when we used to be going to competition and everybody's a winner and blah blah, all that stuff. The thing that we've said for years and years and years is, it's not the destination, it's the journey. And we're still on one, and it doesn't matter if we went down to the middle of the mountain, but because we're going to have a beautiful time on the journey for the rest of this year and the year after that. Music in our lives gives us peace and joy and wonderful feeling of friendships and camaraderie. So wherever you are, you're in great shape, because you're on an exciting journey. Don't be afraid of it. Have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the 2 really most important words for me on this journey, and I know for every musician I worked with and continue to work with, it even just like in these days of rehearsals, are patience and grace. We have to extend a lot of patience to one another, right? Knowing that we're not where we were, that we're all rebuilding, that we all have things that we are working on, and that needs to extend to us as musical leaders too. Just a lot of patience with ourselves and with our choruses in there. So really embrace that. If you've been in one of my rehearsals, you see one of the gestures that happens every single time is this. I always screw something up, and I always have to acknowledge that it was me, so the chorus knows it was me, not them, when that happens. And that's part of the grace piece too, right? Grace with ourselves, grace with our singers, grace for our fellow singers. For those of you standing on the risers, grace with yourself. Again, saying, hey, maybe that's not coming as easily as it did 2 years ago. Maybe you're not learning music as quickly. You know, we are still in fraught times, and many of us have a lot of other concerns on our minds. So maybe the energy with which you approach learning your music is a little lower than it happened. Maybe your amount of time to practice personally is less. All of that is okay. We really have to approach this, like I said, with those two words, grace and patience. And then, like Betty said, lean into that love of what we do. Let that joy of what we do fuel every single moment that you're able to do it. And if at first, if you're just reemerging, that's only 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe an hour, maybe you're still outside, you know, enjoy what you can of that. Let that be the soul food that keeps you moving forward. And remember, all of us are here for you, right? All of your coaches, all of the international faculty, regional faculty, you have resources and you don't have to do it alone. So reach out to any of us if you have questions. We love you and we want everyone to succeed.
Yay.
Thank you.
Bye.